I'm not going to retire. I'm going to be in this industry until I die. However, it's where and what I'm going to be doing. So for me to move to those levels, I have to, one, reinvent and allow people to take over. So reinvention for me is key. So fast forward, so I get into KISS.
Because
so
Mina was a TV presenter.
Mina was a sports presenter at KTN. We're together.
KTN.
Then when I went to Capital, Mina was a sports presenter at Capital. Never a presenter. He was, so Capital had an entertainment department or something.
Yeah.
He was in that. And then Mina left Capital and joined Nation FM, where now he became big. And then from there, he went to KISS. So I found him at KISS. And by that time, remember, I've just joined a station where the music is determined. It is repeated. You do not play what you think. It was a transition for me, because I've just come from the biggest show, which was Hits Not Homework, where I won an award, to now being told, this is a music, you can't change the music. And I was like, what the what? Yeah. And then,
why did you leave Capital and go to KISS?
Give me an offer, I couldn't refuse. You pay me 3 times what Capital will pay me. Yeah.
Hello, bye.
Yeah. But here's it. So I was struggling. And then one time.
And sorry, let me also ask this. And at this time, you've not left KTN?
No, so by this time I've left KTN.
You left KTN when you were at Capital?
Yeah. So when I joined Capital, I was with KTN for another 3-4 months, and then now I Kabisa transition up fully to
radio.
To radio, yeah.
Okay. So now
I'm not doing TV.
Okay.
Okay. So then I went to KISS. And this was, now Moi has said, I'm retiring, whatever, okay? So
right.
the vibe then was just politics. Moi and Atoka transition. So it's huge. KISS 100, which is where I've learned about the science of radio, like I said. They're like, we can't change our promise to our listener, but we can disrupt. We can still remain at the top. So, Motoko calls me and says, listen, there was something happening at the village market. And Mutoko reminds me, don't miss, just come, let's, where they're at. So I go, there's me, Mutoko, Kwaku. I can't remember who else was there. I think John Wilkins was there, I can't remember. And so we start talking, just conversation. And I don't know why at that point, so I guess I did have moments where I was funny, not comedian, but for some strange reason, I would tell stories and people would laugh. And I remember, I don't know what we were talking about, Kwaku laughed so hard, which was very rare, that he almost choked, and everyone else laughed, and we talked. And Carol said, Jimmy, there's one thing you get me is conversation. And then Kwaku said, wait. I need to talk to you. This was on a Sunday. I said, yeah. And we continue conversation. So I go and he tells me, you're going to stop playing music. I'm going to give you a new show. I'm like, which one? I'm going to give you a talk show. You see the transition that's happening. So we're going to start a show and you're going to do it. Because what I saw at the village market, you make people, you make it possible for people to talk to you. And there, the first time it was called KISS 100 talk show, or I can't remember what the name was. And so it was a show where no music, 4-hour talk show, no music.
Full hour or
four hours. From 8 to midnight. 4 hours, Sunday to Thursday. And it was a show where now, because Moi and Achomoka, it was freedom. Guys could talk about anything. They can talk about the president. They could say anything because they don't need to work about this guy is Chomokaing. What? And became, so the funny thing is, KISS 100 was a radio show, was a music station. But people stayed on KISS because of the politics. because people, finally, there was a show on Kiss 100 where people could talk about anything political. Anything.
Yo.
So we move on, and about 4 months later, and this is where I learned about factual stuff and research. A listener called, and to this day we're very good friends, called Henry Wasilo, who's a lawyer still to this day, calls and says, hi, so I love this show because it is our show. I'm a lawyer by profession and I love politics. But the stuff you're talking about is not factual. I don't like that. You can't come on national radio and spew things you got them from a bar. Because I can tell Ivo, I'm listening. I'm not gonna the obvious thing would be like to disconnect.
Yes.
Let me listen. Remember? This is a new thing, so I want to learn. And he says, so then the guy says, funny, you haven't disconnected me. I said, no, I'm listening. He said, okay, good. If you need information, ask me, I'll send it to you. But from now on our show, you're not going to talk non-factual information ever. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
You're live on air?
Live on air.
Hey, brah.
And I'm like, wow. And then so, then there's another guy, I can't remember his name. He says, I've listened to the caller and I thank him for what he has said. Because this is our show, we're going to change it. We're going to call it the People's Parliament.
Yeah.
And that's how People's Parliament was born. And that's how radio talk show started in Kenya.
No way.
Interview politics, those actually political shows. Apple. And it was a parliament. So we changed the name of callers to, my name is, let me shock you. So I have 3 people. 2, let me pick 2, I can remember 2 people. Although there's one used to call him the chief whip. He's called, is called Koech, Willie Koech. Willie Koech is a marketer by profession, but a political analyst by excellence. Willie Koech never went into politics. But these 2 people did. So one of them says, a regular caller. So because he used to talk about Mombasa a lot, we used to call him the Member of Parliament for Mombasa. And then on the show, he announces, but anyone who was on that show, including these 2 people I want to mention, to this day they call me Mr. Speaker. Even Wasilwa, even Willie, Mr. Speaker, that's what they call me. And he says, so I'm like, this is MP for Mombasa. I'm like, karibu sana. Say, but then, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to announce I'm running for office. What? Well done. Where? I'm going to be the MP for Kisauni. What? Congratulations. You know who that is?
No.
Joho, Ali Hassan Joho.
No way.
Yeah. Ali Hassan Joho. And I'm like, what? Well done. Well, Ivo. Can you imagine?
What?
Yeah. Joe was a participant on my show. We used to call him the MP for Mombasa. And then he said, now from now on, please be calling Nisaidia katika vini. Nitedi MP for Kisauni.
Hey, by your voice,
yeah. He's my boy to this day. What? My Kabisa. There's one time, I had a bit of an accident, which was, it's a long story.
Yeah.
And so that's when I first met Joho.
Yes.
So this guy drives in a drop-top Benz and sees me. I'm standing out and he turns around. He goes and turns around. Upper James Kishu turns around, comes up, and I'm like, who's this guy? He comes out in shorts on a Sunday. Mr. Speaker. I'm like, what? MP from that time, MP from Mombasa. What's happening? And Joe didn't leave that place until everything was sorted.
No way.
So that's one guy. The second guy was I met him in the bank, and then became a caller, and good finances, and public accounts, and and then one time, so this show was interesting. It was a strange show. It was a show where I had guests who even my boss Kwako, who appreciated, didn't have. I had the vice president of the country on my show, the late Mudiaore.
What?
Yeah, and then Uhuru Kenyatta, when he was, I think, just a nominated MP. I can't remember where he was. Anyway, yeah, Uhuru. So Uhuru comes on the show. And me, I tell my guests, I don't ask tough questions. Because it's not me, I'm a facilitator. My callers,
they ask the tough ones.
Wow. I always like, yeah, no problem. Let's do it. Yeah, wow. Guys, go. One of them was this guy, and I'm go, bam, 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 bam. He's like, wow, what? He's like, I like your questions, man. They're tough. Who are you? I said, me, I'm so and I work for the bank. But I think I'll run for office. When you run for office, run with my party. Don't worry, I'll let you know when. This is 2003. Fast forward to the TNA, yes. The national, yeah.
Yes.
Okay? So my friend, what's his name? Was a majority speaker. What's his name? This Somali guy. How can I forget him? Very good friend of mine. Because he's, hey, Jimmy, Whippy, we're launching a party. Duale.
I was thinking.
And then Duale, my boy. Now utakuwa MC. I'm like, hey, Duale, mi ni media person. Siwezi kwa MC kwa function kama hiyo. But I can get you somebody I've been training. No, tunataka wewe. Jimmy shouldn't sit house. We're getting you to sit house. Nikamwambia, I know. Lakini itakuwa tricky na niko kazi ndafutwa. At that time I was working for Royal Media. Hapana, lazima wewe. I said, yeah. Unajali gani? Usijali, anajua kazi yake. Lakini mimi samlio pesa mimi namlio 50,000 peke yake. Nikasema ni sawa.
Oh, I know who.
So I called this guy. Niaje fit. This guy was in a bit of a mess. I'm like, Skiza, there's a guy, you know Duale, he's going to call you. Why? So there's a party being launched. I told him there's a high possibility
that they'll get in.
It's like, bro, Mazume, I'm like, however, he's going to pay you 50K.
Bro.
No. I'm like, Nisikize. I don't want, usaki unipate kitu yote. But any event these guys do, then there'll be many. You'll be the MC and they'll pay you 50K. Okay, sawa bro. And then that couple of
So I've been around also the political scene, just saying what goes on.
How did you get in? I don't want to dash over this story. How did you get into politics?
So remember the second one was because of Jimmi Gathu.
Yeah, so Jimmi Gathu calls you.
Hooks me up with this MC gig. Yeah. I go do the MC work. It was a dinner, a fundraiser. And then the next week, the same guys introduced me to these other guys. And say, these other guys also want. So the two guys.
Okay.
You know?
So before Jimmi Gathu called you for that event, you hadn't been affiliated with politics in any way?
No, I didn't have my roots, my foot inside.
Okay. That was the moment where your foot came in. When Jimmi Gathu called you for a union between?
It was actually the DP's party and the president's party. They merged now to form TNA.
Big Ted.
Aye.
Who is now ambassador.
Yes. Kijana Mwing. That's what I call him. Mwing. Anyway.
I've had Big Ted here as well.
Exactly. So let's go back to, that has happened. And then this guy. So this guy runs for office in this party, TNA, and wins. And so after the elections, when they're meeting the president, Uhuru sees him and tells him, my name is so and so. Wewe ndio ulikuwa unasumbua kwenda shule ya Jimmy. Wewe na Jimmy ulikuwa unasumbua. Kimani Ichung'wah. Wewe na Jimmy ulikuwa unasumbua sana. Imagine.
Wow.
Let me tell you this. You see Kimani Ichung'wah that on the show. So imagine the caliber of content, of conversation on that show.
First of all, I'm trying to think about, you have a skill of reinvention, bro.
You have to. Remember my training by KTN? You read the market. Remember I told you about? Yeah. So
it's not even, is it KTN or it's Germany?
That's what I'm saying. It's okay, KTN to be Germany, yeah.
You know, Aizo here had told me, skip your story at Germany. I was like, I don't worry, bro. He under two training. It did. So it talent acquisition and management, how you can read talent in 5 minutes. How you know, by just my voice, looks, nini, and how to harness it. It was training. It's not innate in me. Yes.
I was trained to discover talent.
Like, just give me one thing that stands out. Because even Yvonne, you're grabbing it. You are hearing
Sakaja and Mutula, when I was doing State of the Nation, I told them, if you two don't become senators, I don't know my job. Sakaja, if you don't become a senator, Uswahili trust. At that time, they were nominated MPs. They became senators.
And I told them, guys, here's the thing. You two will unite this country. You will fight. You will argue on this show. You will. At the end of the day, you must tell Kenyans. You must finish it for Kenyans. Give solutions and tell Kenyans. We go party. We go party, but we are Kenyans. Every time they were on the show, that was lazima. Otherwise, muskili kwa hiyo.
My guy, you're a blessing.
Let me tell you, when God gives you something, use it. Ataichukua. Apate mtu mwingine.
Yo. Yeah. Still, let me just say, this skill that you've got of... You have to understand, Jimmy, when you were on Club Kiboko, you were nowhere, you had passed that demographic. So you reinvented yourself to become young.
Yes.
And touchable to...
Yes.
At the same time, you're doing music, but you're doing... all different genres.
And when I was about to get married, Lon and I had a discussion, Lon Irongo and I, and he said, we're going to do our final show, final year. And we're going to, as we're doing it, we're going to redesign Club Kiboko and give it to the kids. Yeah? And so we got, do you remember, I don't know if it's Yvonne Maingi. There's a presenter on BBC called Yvonne Maingi. So we got her and trained her, and we changed the Club Kiboko that you see now and give it back to the kids. Because you are moving. You have to transition. We can't be doing Club Kiboko at, you let the kids, because they're the ones, just like myself. Josephine Bell was like, look, I'm older than you, you're younger, so you can do this better than I can, so do it. So she handed me the baton.
What's the thing about, just give me something about that enables you to transition?
Okay.
For you. Because, I mean, this isn't... You're having political conversations.
Relevance and reinvention. If you want to become... So here's the thing. You asked me the first question, and I told you, I'm not going to retire. I'm going to be in this industry until I die. However, it's where and what I'm going to be doing. So for me to move to those levels, I have to, one, reinvent and allow people to take over. So reinvention for me is key because it makes me relevant. So, and for me is, what is a big thing happening then? Right now, as we speak, mental issues, men, relationships from a man's perspective, that's a big thing. Men rediscovering themselves, wondering, why am I in this mess? What is it? For me...
And it's real for you.
It is, no!
You're here talking. It's real.
Let me tell you, bro, I went through a hard time. And part of it was, it got me to a point where I had to ask myself, I had to step back and ask myself, who am I? Because I realized that all these things, all these negative things that people were saying then, that was not me. Conman, that was not me. And I had to step back and say, so who am I? And once you ask yourself that question, your journey for healing begins. And so I had to ask. And by the way, journey to healing it's painful.
Yep.
There are some things I had to accept that were painful to accept, but I had to move on to the next level. And as I went on, and the moment when my story got shared, when I got back into the industry after 5 years of radio, is when I realized, oh my God, men are going through stuff. And so I can't continue doing It's Not Homework if I want to be talking to men. And also, if I talk to men my age or men, then people who are also becoming fathers or getting into manhood are going to listen to this person who has been through it all.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it has aspiration, it has, but you can't go there if I want to stay here and not accept what I'm going through. And hating the world for it, hate everyone. Oh, apana mtu nani. No. You heal. When you heal, become a better person. You accept. Did I fail? Yes. Did I make bad decisions? Yes. So what do I do? You move on to the next level. Okay. Then you discover, hey, Kumbe, it's not your fault. It's actually how you grew up. And so you have to accept. Okay. So how your mom raised you, even though she didn't know any better,
wasn't the best.
Wasn't the best. And you accept it.
Yep.
It wasn't easy. I'm like, okay, so my mom slapped me with a panga. That's funny. it can be funny, but it's not. It's a fact. And I had to accept it. I'm talking about my mom, who's probably watching this now. Or my brothers explain to her, Mother, Jimmy, I don't get story. You know, I know. But it's a fact.
I know.
She didn't know any better.
Yep.
And I love her more because now I understand her. And I understand
Yep.
myself.
You have empathy for her and understanding. You don't condone what she did as right.
No.
But you understand.
I would not slap my kids with a panga.
Yeah. You didn't even walk around with the panga.
No. But I do understand her journey
Yep.
and her circumstances. And so I will use the positives from that experience. You
Yep.
know what I said? Memory, use memory for positive. So from that perspective, I'll use the positives to impart that on my children. That this world is tough. Nothing comes easy. Stuff like that. You prepare kids for the world, not vice versa.
Let me tell you, Jimmy, I love the life lessons in your CTA. The career is nice. The life lessons, those things I'm running with, like.
And here, you see, when you use God's gift to create talent, who else is going to speak my story one day? You put them together.
And you own your whole story.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to this thing. So you are in your life's journey now. You're at this point where you're having conversations, and the country is in transition.
Yes.
Major transition.
Yes, major.
But the country itself is healing.
Yes.
Let's call
yes.
a spade.
Oh, yes.
The country itself
yeah.
has
yeah,
assessed the trauma that it's had for the last, I don't
yeah.
know how many years
yeah.
of ruled.
Yeah.
And
What's up?
the reason why we're hopeful is because hopeful came with healing.
Yes.
But we accepted, the way we have been run the last.
This is better. And it did grow. I mean, Kiboko did a fantastic job from a GDP of 200 billion to
Imagine.
a trillion or something. Yeah, things happened, you know.
But I like even your maturity. You see, now your conversations are not music anymore.
No.
Your conversations, you've grown. You've accepted that, I'm in this.
And you understand that if you are in the most important industry that shapes a country in terms of culture, social, political matters, you have to be true and ready and equipped for it, both here, and you have to. You can't just go there and spew nonsense. It can damage the country.
Man.
And that is key. And that's why for me I was like, if I'm given the position of management in managing a medium, I have got to do that because that generation that I will create will continue to take this country or to help shape the country in the right direction. Look at Yvonne. Had I dismissed her or had I not trained her the way I did, everyone looks at Yvonne and says, have you heard that girl talk? My God. Even sometimes I'm like, whoa.
Yep. Hey, so funny you say that. The other day I was watching her talk about climate change and I was like, breaking it down, I was like, that's not even political, but I was like, the brilliance in which she delivered.
I used to tell her, even if it is the biggest story and you don't have the facts about it, you're not discussing it on the show.
Whoa.
Even if it is the big story, until you have the facts with you.
Yo, Jimmy, that's
you're not going on air with that story. And the beauty about Yvonne, you see, and aloud, Yvonne would argue, boss, no, I think I can hack it. I don't want you to tell me you can hack it. I want you to tell me you can do it. Don't tell me hack. I can run with it? No. I want you to tell me you can do it. And she would quickly pick it up. So while other people were discussing the big story, my team would not. And when they went on air with it...
You felt the difference. Let me ask you about Patrick Kwako. What did he do for you?
Patrick Kwako.
You see, along your journey, there's been few.
Let me tell you, actually,
in your journey, Jimmy, let me just tell you this. In your journey, Jimmy, you've got a lot of colonial transition. What I mean by that is a lot of white people are in power. A lot of your bosses have been white. Even when the blacks come in, on a sign off our country. But so of course there's the elements of and not even to dwell there, the racism that sometimes creeps up subconsciously or consciously. But more importantly, now Patrick Kwako is an African leader that you've got.
So Patrick